Hello, today's my son's birthday, and so we had him and his wife over for cake and ice cream, and pizza. So they come over and we enjoyed ourselves. So I made him a devil's food cake. I told him I was making him a devil's food cake because everyone I mentioned, he didn't know if he wanted it. So I said, I'm making you a little devil's food cake because you're acting like a little devil. So, had bruschetta pizzas for lunch. And this is Jacob's gluten-free cake. And I want to tell you, I mentioned to Chastity, about the gluten-free cake mix is usually so dry and grainy. And so that's one reason why we made two cakes. Because the reason why Kenneth and Amanda I didn't offer them the gluten-free. Because usually, like I said, it's too dry and grainy. Not that, good. Oh no, the icing stuck to it. But anyway, it was prettier than this. But, so she goes and decides to find how to, a way of making this where it's not so dry. And I want y'all to know that this was the best cake. So the next time we will not make two cakes. Because I tried to get Kenneth to take that cake home with him and he wouldn't do it. So I'm getting my sister to come by and get it for her and her husband. Because we don't need two cakes here. Because I have a tendency, my sugar goes out of control. And I'm not good about watching what I eat. Oh, I watch what I eat, all right. I watch myself eat it. I don't eat like I should. I get the craving sweet so bad. But this cake, this gluten-free cake, was so good. She substituted some things. I don't know how she did it. But she also used her KitchenAid mixer instead of like I normally did, just by hand. And it was not grainy. It was just as moist as it could be. Let me see if I can show you. But see how moist and flaky it is?
Give it a good bit.
Look at this.
And then,
if
we need more,
it is really good. He loved it. He said, this is so good. But don't remember who it's made by. Let's see if I can see. In the garbage can. Yep, she took the garbage out. But I stayed up with them a little bit till my back got hurting me so bad. But what I want to talk to you about is while we were shopping yesterday, we met another lady in the gluten-free aisle, and she was talking about how she has celiacs. And, people don't understand about the difference between when you've got to be on the diet, and then versus the ones that just wants to be on the diet. You cannot cross-contaminate the food. See, on this toaster, we have that's labeled gluten-free. On peanut butter and jelly, we write gluten-free on his. Let's see. The other day, he has a dairy issue too, and he has to have lactate milk. And I messed up. I put regular milk. And it was no time. And his stomach was hurting. And that's how I found out that I messed up. But I label these, like this is Bisquick, gluten-free. The noodles are gluten-free. These are my regular crackers. Gluten-free flour. And this is gluten-free baking flour. And that's Pillsbury all-purpose. So I label everything, especially if it's gluten-free. Plus we have more right here that's gluten-free. Well, this brown sugar, of course, is gluten-free. And breadcrumbs. But we went to Jack's, and the Jack's here where we live, we don't have any issues with. When we ask them, get a milkshake, we ask them to please wash the scoop before you make Jacob's milkshake, because there's some chocolate that does have gluten in it. It's unbelievable, but it does. So the ones that's around here, they're pretty accustomed to it, so they don't have any issue with it. So they'll do it without any questions. Well, we went to one in an area close to us, which I'm going to call the main office and talk to them about it. Not fuss, but just informal. That they need to talk to the workers and let them know that, when people ask them to clean the scoop, it's not that they're wanting to give them a hard time. It's because of allergies. And, what if the person has a nut allergy? So we went to the one, and like I said, a different town. And she asked them to clean the scoop. And she said, we always wash the scoop. And she said, no, these need to be washed out before she said, we always wash the scoop. So Chastity pulled her up and she said, well, he cannot have, even if it's cross-contaminated. She says, no, it's always in a cup of water. Well, that might be, but the cup of water could have cross-contaminants of gluten in it. We need it washed. So, anyway, we just have a lot of issues, getting people to understand. But I know I had talked to the lady at Walmart. When we was talking to the lady at Walmart, she said, I think she was 12 when she was diagnosed with celiac. And she said one day she was talking to the bread guy, and she asked him, did he have any gluten-free bread? And he said, what's that? And she says, gluten-free bread? You don't know what gluten-free bread is? He says, yeah, but no, I don't have it. And she said it was like he was mocking her, you know, because people go on gluten-free diets as a fad diet, you know. Well, that's good for them, you know, if that's what they want to do. But, you know, it's not for the ones that have to. I mean, Chastity tried per a suggestion to try him and see how he would do without having to be on gluten-free. And it wasn't long, and he started getting sick again. And we had to go right back to the gluten-free. And we seen then that he has to be on gluten-free. It's no question about it. And I really felt bad for him. You know, the poor child, he has so much wrong with him. And Chastity says, Mom, you know, sometimes I think that people think I've got Munchausen syndrome. Because here he is, he's allergic to all this stuff. He can't have gluten. He can't have dairy. You know, he has a lot of issues with dairy. And he's autistic. He's on the spectrum. And he has asthma. Well, when she took him to a gastro doctor, come to find out, a lot of children that's on the autism spectrum have gastro issues. So it all goes hand in hand. So, you know, I told her, I said, Chastity, stop thinking this. And there's another lady that has a vlog, and somebody asked her the same thing, if she wasn't on Munchausen syndrome, because her oldest son was so sick. And come to find out, he really, really is sick. He's on the lung transplant list. And, you know, we don't need to judge people like that. You know, these kids are sick. We don't know what's going on in their bodies. You know, and there's some kids, they can't tell you. Like Jacob, he would never tell you if he was hungry or if he had a headache until he was just to the point that he couldn't bear it no more. If he was hungry, it was to the point that his sugar was dropping. You know, you have to watch the signs. So, you know, like I said, we don't need to judge them. We don't need to judge people. We need to stop and think. So, but that's what I wanted to say about his dad. You know, I told you he was saving his money up for a PlayStation system. Well, his dad bought him one, which I'm not even going to go on that subject. But, I'm glad he did. I'm glad he reached out and got it for him. So he's got him a PlayStation 5. So I'm glad. And like his mama told him, you're not getting on no chat. So, because we never know what's people are apt to do. So that's all I wanted to say, and I guess tomorrow's the end of tax season. You got to do your taxes. Bye-bye.